You finish someone's sentence in your head before they do. You notice the contradiction in what they just said and say nothing. You walk into a room and immediately sense the tension nobody else seems to feel. And somehow, all of that exhausts you in ways that are almost impossible to explain. This isn't about being better than anyone. It's about something quieter, something most people never talk about, the part of being highly intelligent that doesn't feel like a gift at all. You are not too sensitive. You are not overcomplicating things. And you are not imagining it. The mind that processes deeply pays a price for that depth. Not always, not loudly, but consistently in small, invisible ways that accumulate over time. What you carry isn't weakness. It's the other side of a mind that simply doesn't know how to be shallow. The first struggle is the one that starts earliest. You think in layers. While most people hear a question and answer it, your brain is already 3 levels deeper, considering the exceptions, the contradictions, the implications nobody asked about. In conversation, this creates a gap. You're not being distant. You're not being cold. You're just operating at a depth that most exchanges were never built to reach. And after years of pulling yourself back to the surface to meet people where they are, that gap starts to feel like loneliness wearing a very quiet disguise. The second struggle lives in overthinking, but not the kind people joke about on the internet. This is something more specific. It's the inability to turn the analysis off even when you desperately want to. You replay conversations. You find the flaw in your own argument at 2 a.m. You see 10 possible outcomes of a decision that hasn't happened yet. Psychologists sometimes describe this as hyperactive metacognition, a mind that thinks about its own thinking, constantly, almost involuntarily. It doesn't feel like intelligence. Most of the time, it feels like noise. And this is where it gets interesting, because the third struggle is almost the opposite: decision paralysis. The same mind that can see every angle of a problem can struggle to choose between them. When you understand complexity deeply, certainty becomes harder to hold on to. Simpler minds decide faster, not because they're reckless, but because they don't see what you see. You see everything. And sometimes, everything is too much to move through. The fourth struggle is a kind of invisible loneliness inside relationships. Not the absence of people, but the absence of a certain quality of connection. Intelligent people often find themselves performing a version of themselves in social settings. Smaller, easier, more palatable. It works. People respond warmly to the edited version. But the parts of you that were left out don't disappear, they just go unseen. And a self that's consistently unseen develops a very particular kind of hunger that ordinary connection can never quite satisfy. The fifth struggle is sensitivity and the shame that quietly surrounds it. High intelligence and emotional intensity travel together more often than the world acknowledges. You feel things that others move past. You're affected by things others seem immune to. And somewhere along the way, you likely learn to hide that, because intelligence and emotion are not supposed to coexist, according to the story most of us were told. But they do. They always have. And suppressing one to protect the other is one of the most draining things a person can do. The sixth struggle is the weight of expectation. When people know you're intelligent, they stop offering help. They assume you have it handled. They come to you with their problems and forget to ask about yours. Over time, you learn to perform competence even when you're running on empty. You learn that being capable means being alone with your struggles. And slowly, asking for help starts to feel like a betrayal of who you're supposed to be. The seventh struggle is the hardest to name. It's a restlessness that never fully goes away, a sense that you're always looking for something, a deeper conversation, a more honest connection, a problem worth solving, a life that matches the interior complexity of the one you actually have. Some people call this ambition, but it's quieter than that. It's less about achievement and more about alignment, a constant, low hum of not quite yet, even in moments that, by any reasonable measure, should feel like enough. What all 7 of these share is this: they are not flaws, they are not things to fix, they are the texture of a mind that was built for depth in a world that mostly rewards speed. The overthinking, the sensitivity, the disconnection, the restlessness, they are not signs that something went wrong with you. They are signs of exactly how much your mind is alive. You were never too much. The world was just rarely enough.